Hey everyone, welcome back to A Gut Feeling. My name is Janine, and in this channel we talk all about things relating to the gut. And today I'm really excited because I have a special guest on this channel. His name is Wayne Schrock, and he flew the whole way from Missouri with his wife Tina just for this interview, so I'm really honored to have him here. Hey, thanks a lot for coming.
You betcha, you're welcome.
So Wayne Schrock is with a company called Anovite, and if you're new to this and you're not sure about what Anovite is, I have made some previous videos where I talked about it a little bit. And the main point of me being excited about Anovite was with colostrum. I had done studies on colostrum, how I felt it had benefited me. So if you haven't seen those videos, make sure to go check them out. I have links in the description, and there'll be cards up here somewhere, and then that'll give you a base to the company. I'm so privileged that he could come and I could ask him questions for you guys to understand more about the company. So Wayne, in a summarized version, how did you get involved with Anovite?
Well, let's go back just a little bit. In 2009, we were introduced to a good nutritional product. It was fucoidan based.
Okay.
And we saw amazing results with it. But Lord led, so in 2018, we started looking for another company. Started looking for a company with a good product. One of our top key things was, folks, we wanted an owner that was a Christian owner that had integrity, that wouldn't sacrifice the quality of the product to make an extra dollar. You know, that was our top thing that we were looking for. We looked at 500 different companies for 10.5 months, and it wasn't just us. It was some real good friends of ours, Shannon Rochette Pardue. Maybe one day we can get Janine to get Shannon on a Zoom or something also. And so after that time, we found Dr. Kine Smith. He grew up on a Utah farm boy, milking cows every morning with his brother, a sincere Christian, and he was offered lots of opportunities where he could have made a lot of money by simply sacrificing the integrity of his product, but he chose not to do so. And that was really what sold us, number one, on the product, on the owner. The second thing was then Dr. K asked me, he said, what do you know about colostrum? And I said, well, it's pretty simple. I grew up on a dairy. If babies don't get colostrum, they don't make it very often. And so he said, well, do you realize it's good for us as adults? Mm-hmm. And I said, well, I would have never thought about that. You know, I thought it's for babies.
Right.
So he said, well, all of us are born with something in the center of our chest called a thymus gland. Mm-hmm. And that is the core of our immune system. So our immune system is there and in our gut.
Okay.
That's our immune system. So if our thymus gland isn't working properly, nothing is working properly. If our gut isn't working properly, nothing is working properly. Okay. I listened because it caught my attention because I'd never heard of a thymus gland. Okay. So Dr. K said, that's the core of your immune system. When you're born, it's the size of a navel orange. Mm-hmm. By the time you turn 45, it's the size of a pea.
Okay. It's incredible.
Yeah. By the time you turn 55, pretty much gone. And then when he got done explaining that, he told me, he said, colostrum is the only nutrient that we know that will help it grow back. Okay. So if we can increase the size of your thymus gland, give you the growth factors and the immune factors that you had as a child, as a baby, growing up, now your body can start working more in that direction. I mean, colostrum, after all, was the first food God gave to us to make so we can live in this world. Mm-hmm. Because before we were born, we were living on whatever mom ate, right?
Right, exactly.
And once we come into this world, now we got to face the big old bad world.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the next thing he asked me is, have you ever heard of fucoidan? Have you ever heard of seaweed? And I'm like, yeah, I know that stuff.
Mm-hmm. That's what helped you earlier.
Exactly.
You and your family.
Yep. And once again, we could tell stories about that. We're not going to go into that because we're trying to focus a lot on colostrum because that's what has helped Janine tremendously. Mm-hmm. And hopefully Dr. K will get into some of this stuff too. But one of the things that colostrum does for us, besides rebuilding our thymus gland, is it puts a new lining on our intestines, our digestive tract. I said that wrong, sorry.
No, that's fine.
Our digestive tract from our esophagus all the way through.
Yeah. And that's what people with gut issues like myself and a lot of the people watching, what's a huge benefit of colostrum.
And that's one of the things that I hadn't known until Dr. K told me, is he said, when people have acid reflux or heartburn and that kind of stuff, that's usually the early onset of a gut issue. And he said that can actually lead to heart problems
I see.
and lung problems
Okay.
and all that kind of good stuff. And then just lately, I heard it from a third party was saying that, did you know that if your body is infused with colostrum, you're 4 times less likely to get the common cold than what somebody that took the flu shot is?
That's really interesting. One of my
Now-
friends said she gives it to her children every winter, and they often don't get nearly as sick.
Yeah. And now I don't have scientific evidence to back that up. That's what I
Right.
heard somebody say.
Right.
So, and to me, and I'm like, I got to dig into this. I got to find it, but I haven't yet. So
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
if it's supposed to help your immune system, that would
Makes sense.
definitely right. Would make sense. And one of my questions, I was going to ask you why people should maybe think of Anovite over a majority of other companies, and you mentioned integrity, but also on colostrum. It says colostrum 6. So what does that 6 stand for?
Thank you. Very good question. Colostrum has to be harvested within the first 6 hours to be true colostrum. You know, a lot of people think the first milking, like I said, I grew up on a dairy. We said, oh, well, it's colostrum for the first 72 hours. Mm-hmm. It's not really. It's transitional milk. Mm-hmm. Colostrum is not made in the mammary glands. It's made in the stomach.
Okay.
And then any mother mammal, that's where colostrum is made, and it releases to the udder. Mm-hmm. Right around the same time the calf is born.
Okay.
And then within 6 hours, that cow actually starts reabsorbing that.
I see. Okay.
And she starts producing milk in her mammary glands.
Okay.
So now what's left in the udder takes up to 72 hours to wash all out. Mm-hmm. But it is transitional milk. It's not real colostrum. It has very little colostrum in it. After the first 6 to 8 hours, it is up to 90% what's the word I want?
Diluted.
90% diluted.
Yeah.
Thank you. Very good.
And so, what about the calves?
Thank you. Very good question.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing that they do, so let's back up a little bit. That calf is born. Mm-hmm. They don't let the calf suck on mama. They milk the cow, get the colostrum. The calf gets the first 2 quarts.
Okay.
And then we get what's left over.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Very good. And one thing I also wanted to mention, when I was doing all my studies with colostrum and different places I kept coming to, health places, they just kept mentioning what a good product it is to take. So my mom actually bought me some. It was pretty expensive stuff. It was a company that had really good reviews as far as they were supposedly a really, it was a quality product. And so I was actually taking probably a good heaping tablespoon in my shakes when I was of this other stuff. But when I had heard about Anovite and colostrum 6 through another YouTuber that I was watching that has the same stomach issues I do, or gut issues I should say, he was mentioning this colostrum 6 and how you have to have that colostrum in the first 6 hours, and I was fascinated, but I wasn't really convinced to jump over. And then later my mom told me about this company she heard about, the colostrum being harvested in the first 6 hours. So I decided, you know what, and I gave him a call and we talked, and he gave me some stories that resonated well with me. And so I decided to jump ship. And he told me to go slow because if you go fast, it really hurts your stomach or your gut. And so you started me off on 1 pill, correct? Which is, what, maybe 1/4 a teaspoon?
Not even a 1/4
Not
teaspoon.
even a 1/4.
3 capsules would be a 1/2 teaspoon.
Okay. Now, I had changed my diet. If you all have been following this channel, you know my story. And I was seeing good results with the diet, but I just couldn't get my bleeding to stop. I just noticed that whether it was, you know, my diet finally taking effect, or if it was me switching to the product that finally gave me that last boost to seal up my gut and kind of slow down the bleeding, give me a new gut lining, or whatever all happens there. I haven't bled since, and it was, I think I kind of stopped. It was like 3 days or so after, and I'm not claiming that this product, you know, completely took that away. I'm just saying the steps that I took and the results that I had. So I'm really excited about it, and I'm excited to see over the next year if I can stay in remission with the different things I'm doing, and if this can help. Because over the 2 years I've been diagnosed, I actually, the majority of that time I've been in an active flare.
Yeah.
And so meds and stuff weren't working. So I'm excited to see from here on out, you know, what's going to happen, and I'll keep you all updated on that as well. Yeah, I think
there is one thing I'd like to add in there is, you know, if we stop and look what you said about the bleed not being able to put a stop for that length of time. When you start putting that new lining on your gut, how does that happen? Because, you know, one of the big challenges for formulators or individual scientists and doctors that come up with all these nutritional products, which are amazing, most of them. I mean, I'm not going to knock anybody else's product. But they have to try to do something that is going to move that probiotic and enzyme and growth factors and all that stuff past the stomach acid into the gut where it can actually start working.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
What Dr. K did is, instead of taking and tearing the colostrum apart, he takes the whole colostrum, turns it into powder, and now we have the natural fats that God put into there still surrounding all those healthy probiotics and enzymes and growth factors, and that actually takes it through our stomach acid into our gut where we need it.
I see.
And that's how it can help our gut so much, is because it's the way God made it. It's not something that man put together.
Yeah.
I often tell stories. I say, you know, in today's world, doctors tell me one of the biggest complaints they get is, I have no energy. Well, if you come to me and say, Wayne, I have no energy, can you help me? And I'm not a scientist or a doctor by any way, shape, or form. But folks, I can take this bottle of water, I can crush up a bunch of vitamin B, and maybe some caffeine and some ginseng, mix it all together, and I can say, here, Janine, drink this, you're going to have energy. 90% of y'all have energy. Or if you come to me and say, I can't sleep. Well, there's been a market on a product on the market since I was a little boy called Calms.
Okay.
Not even sure who makes it, I just know I know of it.
Okay.
And then a lot of y'all know what melatonin is. I could do the same thing, put melatonin and Calms in a bottle of water. And say, here, Janine, drink this, you'll sleep better. And 90% of y'all would sleep better. That is what the health and wellness industry as a whole does. They treat symptoms. And bless their hearts, we're glad they do, because there's people that need that help.
Right.
But what Dr. K is trying to do, and what we, Shannon Rochette Purdue, and my wife Tina and I, our focus is to help people's whole body start healing. And so instead of saying, oh, Janine, you got a gut issue, let's take care of this, let's focus on the gut issue.
Put a Band-Aid on it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're saying, Janine, you got a gut issue, that means your body's out of balance.
Right.
God created it. He created colostrum. It's the first food he made for us to have. So, I mean, in my books, if our gut isn't working right, or any other part of our body, as far as that goes, we got out of balance. This is what God gave us to get into balance, to be able to live in this world.
To start with.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it can help that again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, and the other thing that I forgot to mention before when I was mentioning the other companies was I went, actually, I'm not going to mention the company because that's not good ethics, but I went and took the colostrum from the other company and compared it to colostrum from Anovite, which is 6-hour colostrum. There's no comparison. I'll put a video on here. The one, it just basically looks like powdered milk. Yeah. And the other one is more of a dense, thick. It has a little bit more of a yellow. It has a smell to it. It almost smells like vanilla. Almost like a protein powder. The other one has no smell whatsoever. It's just sort of a bland powder. So you can just even see it when they're side by side. So this is one of the reasons I was excited about this company, just from the quality that I could see. And when you told me to go slow, I did it first, and then later I'm like, well, I think I'm better, and I started putting these big heaping teaspoons into my shake, and I'm telling you, my stomach hurt. So you were right. The main reason I was drawn was the colostrum, but you mentioned some other products like fucoidan, so do you want to touch more on that, on some of the other products?
Yeah, I will a little bit. Being we spent so many years using a fucoidan-based product, and this one we use, the other product just fell on the floor. This is one of the things we really like about fucoidan is, and Limousin, the whole unit. It's a stacked product. It has several different nutritions in it, but they're the whole nutrient of each one.
Okay.
And that's one of the things we love about Dr. K is formulating. But first thing is it gives us mental clarity. And who out there wouldn't like to have better mental clarity? Mind retention. I try to read the Bible through every year. I used to notice the last several years that I'd read it, and by 10 o'clock in the morning, I really couldn't remember what I read. I just kind of felt, well, it feels good because I read it, but what did I read? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I can tell you what I read this morning if y'all want to hear it, but I don't think we'll take time to go into all of that. But, you know, it really helped me on that. But the other thing that we really like about this, so if you call me Janine, I don't know you from Adam, and you say, Wayne, I'm having gut issues. You know, so the first thing I'm going to say is, well, Janine, here's the thing. We don't focus on putting a Band-Aid on anything. We don't focus on symptoms. If you have a gut issue, your body is out of balance. So I'm going to tell you what I told you about colostrum already. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to say, you know, one of the things that Limousin does, besides give us mental clarity and all that stuff, is it's very good for inflammation. There's all kinds of third-party research on the National Library of Medicine on fucoidan, and that's one of the things that they say is very good for inflammation. If your stomach's hurting, you've got inflammation. Not the only problem. If we just focus on inflammation, now we're putting a Band-Aid on it.
Right.
But we can relieve that pressure by adding that to the mix.
I see.
So then the next thing is I'm going to tell you, and you probably don't get this story if you call me, my daughter Lucretia, or Shannon Pardue. We're pretty much going to tell you the same thing. So the next thing that you're going to hear us talk about is OxyQuest. What does OxyQuest do? Now, Dr. K can explain this product very good to you. I hope you ask him that when he's talking. But it adds oxygen to your blood and makes your body alkaline. When your body is alkaline, diseases have a hard time growing in it.
Right.
And when your body is oxygenated, the same thing. But the oxygen does something else. It travels through your blood and makes everything heal faster and better.
Okay, that's interesting.
Also, it gives you more energy.
Okay.
So
who can't use that?
Exactly. I was going to say, who can't use a little more energy, and a little more mind clarity? So take those along with the colostrum. You got a very good combination.
Yeah, I haven't actually tried this. I want to try that. I'm interested in that. I will say when I tried the Limousin, those of us with really weak guts, we have to be careful even with good supplements. So when I took it, I think it kind of offset because I was pretty unsteady then at that time, and it seemed to kind of unsettle my gut a little bit. So I haven't taken it since, but I'm definitely interested.
What we would say in that situation, if you read on the pack sachet, and maybe it's not proper to open this while we're talking on this, but
oh no, that's fine.
If you read on here, it says 1 to 2 ounces of water, and it says the less water, the more powerful it becomes. Well, you know, here's the thing. For somebody like you that's gone through so much health issues, you tend to follow them kind of directions very good, and that's awesome. But with your situation, what I would have told you to do is dilute it tremendously. If you'd have called me and said, hey, Wayne, it's messing with my gut, I'd have said, okay, dilute it. It's not going to taste near as good because it was designed to taste really good in about 2 ounces of water.
Yeah.
And you put it in about 6 or 8 ounces of water, it's not going to taste as near as good. But it dilutes it enough, it doesn't hurt us bad.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And there's colostrum in that as well, right?
Just a little bit. Just enough to help across the blood-brain barrier.
Okay. Very good. Now, with talking with you, you know a lot of people personally that you had shared interesting stories with me, but we can't actually share them here because of FDA regulations and stuff. We can't share other people's stories. They have to share them themselves, but we can personally share our own testimonies and stories. So, sorry guys, this is future me interrupting the interview, but there's one thing I wanted to interject here. We can't share other people's testimonies on here because of FDA regulations. But if you're interested in hearing other people's stories, I'm going to have phone numbers in the description that you can call. There'll be passcodes to put in, and you'll get put onto like a recorded call line where you can listen in to other people share their stories and how they've been blessed with some of the products they've been taking. So if you're interested in that, there's going to be tons of information in the description. Phone numbers you can call to get to the home office to talk directly to people. Other phone numbers you can call to hear testimonies of people. There's going to be a link to a website if you want to browse products or possibly order just through a website. And just as a side note, I do make a little bit of profit if you go through the link in the description, but it's completely up to you if you feel like going through the link. It's perfectly fine. It's there if you want it. If you don't, that's fine. But all the information you need is in the description. Anyway, sorry to interrupt. Let's get back to the interview. What have you noticed when you were taking fucoidan earlier, or when you took more colostrum? Like, what are some benefits that you felt it helped with?
Okay, very good. When we were first introduced to nutritional products, which was fucoidan product was the first thing we were introduced to, I was struggling with my blood pressure being at stroke levels. And we saw a tremendous improvement when we started putting good nutrition into our body. That had reversed itself and had gone back to very similar to where it was beforehand.
That's incredible.
So that's when we started with this product, and we saw, this is actually the first one of the products we used with this company.
Okay.
Was the Limousin. Probably will always be my favorite.
Okay.
Because I love the way I feel on it. Man, I get focused energy. I mean, that's me.
Okay.
I like moving.
Right.
Anyhow, so we right away very fast started seeing the same type of results again. Once again, this stuff does not heal you. God is the only one that can heal you. This is good nutrition. When you put it in your body will start working the way the good Lord intended for it to work. That's what we believe. And I had my knees were hurting very bad. We did construction. We'd put metal roofs on houses, and I'd have to go up and down the ladder. The boys said, well, Dad, we'll take care of the roof work. You do the ground work. Well, for any of you that are getting up there my age, I'm 49 years old. I've been walking on concrete since I was 13, almost full-time, 16 to 18 hours a day. You know what I'm talking about. The knees just hurt. And getting down on your knees to cut metal is not a good idea any more than climbing the ladder is.
I can imagine, yeah.
But go ahead.
Might even be worse. Well, not really.
Not really, because at least you aren't standing on a sloped roof after you get up there. So, but about 2-3 weeks into it, we were doing a job. It shouldn't have been that hard a job. The boys should have been able to handle the roof. But there were some vents that were different from what we were used to, and they kept, Dad, we need you to come up and look at this. Dad, we need you to come up and look at this. I ended up going down the ladder 4, 5, 6 times that day. And, going up a 20-foot extension ladder, not a lot of fun when every step hurts.
Exactly.
But at the end of the day, I was feeling good. We're driving home. My son says, Dad, do you realize that you didn't fuss about your knees one time today? And I'm like, what? And I reached down and I massaged my knee, and I said, that's because it don't hurt.
That's just incredible.
So somewhere along the line, putting good nutrition in my body, God healed that. And I hadn't even noticed it until my son pointed it out.
That's the one thing that's so different with the natural world versus the medical world. When we want to go, I'm all for medical. I think they're wonderful.
Yeah.
But there's some things that I feel it's more of a Band-Aid, and we want instant results.
Yeah.
I think you said it one time. We take 50 years to destroy our body, and we want it repaired in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So when we take natural products, it happens so gradually that we don't quite think about it, and then one day we just like, oh, you know what? A month ago or a month and a half ago or however long, I was in this much pain and I don't even have it, or in my case it's a little bit different, but that's the one thing that with products like this, you have to give them a try for much longer than a couple days or a few weeks. It's good to try at least for a month or two and then see if you like it or.
And the thing is that I always tell people, all right, so we've been using the product now for a little bit over a year.
Okay.
And Dr. Anthony Kleinsmith, Dr. K, has a 90-day money-back guarantee on it.
Okay, I didn't even realize that.
Yes.
Okay.
And so I always tell people, give it a 90-day trial. What's it going to hurt? What do you got to lose? You get your money back if it don't work.
Right.
Now, in a year's time, Janine, we've had 3 people now that have called back and asked for the money back.
Wow. And you have lots of people call you.
Yes, there's approximately 1,000 people on our team, between 800 and 1,000. And the thing that's funny or whatever, make sure we make the point here is, as I talk to those people, we find out that they aren't giving it a fair trial. There was a family that lives close to us, and I didn't know them personally, but they called and ordered product, and we had them. They chose to order the Limousin, the OxyQuest, and the colostrum, all 3.
Okay.
And it was a mom and a dad and 4 children.
Okay.
In 2.5 months, 6 people together used 1 month's supply of Limousin for 1 person.
Okay.
They used no OxyQuest, and they used 1 month and a third supply of colostrum at the maintenance dosage.
I see. Okay.
And so they called back and said it don't work. Well, guys, it won't work if you leave it sitting in your cabinet. It does have to be used internally to do you any good.
Too often we do that. We take it for a couple of days and then forget about it and put it on the shelf.
Yep.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, well, thanks a lot for coming. I really appreciate this, and I found it very helpful. I even learned a few more things here talking to you. And if you're at all interested in ordering products, he said he would... he wants his information to be shared. So actually you can call his home office. I'll have his number in the description. I'll have links to a website if you just want to check out the website. But the really nice thing is at the home office you can talk to live people. Like how many businesses can you get a hold of a live person? So you can just call them. There are 2 office girls there.
Yep.
They'll answer all the questions you have. If you have any concerns or complaints, or if you want to return something or order something, they can help you learn how you can save more money, maybe certain items, if you package them together. And I'm not sure all that, but yeah, it's really nice to be able to talk to a person. So information is in the description, that you can call him or call the home office there, and they can help you out if this at all interests you. I'm really excited about especially the colostrum, because that's what I've been taking and what I feel has really been a staple for me. So just wanted to share this out with you. And just obviously I'm not saying that this company is the only company that makes good colostrum or produces good colostrum. I'm sure there's some others, but you have to be super careful because there's so many that are just delivering you a cheap product for maybe a lot of money, and it's just, you're basically just drinking milk, powdered milk. So you want to make sure that you study into colostrum if you want, and all the benefits. There's tons of information online if you just research it yourself. And then if you decide you want to make the step, then just make sure to pick a good company, and I would definitely recommend Anovite, just because of the difference I've seen with the previous colostrum that I was taking. Colostrum, I should say. That I was colostrum that I was taking versus what I take now. So. Anyway, and I have the container here. This is the 1 pound, and you would recommend buying, if you're going seriously, the 2 pound if it's something that you're going to be doing for a long time.
Right. We actually have 2 different ways that you can get started that we like to see people get started. Now, I should say 3. One way is the way you started, Janine. For people, certain issues, and that's why we like when you call us and not just call the company, because you call the company, they can help you order. Their girls are very professional, please don't get me wrong, but they're going to say, what do you want to order? They're going to order it. That's it. You call me or my girls, and I say my girls, literally my daughter and my daughter-in-law are the ones that answer the phones. Once in a while you get one of the boys or you get my wife, but you just one of us 3, my wife, my daughter, my daughter-in-law, or me. And you know, we're going to try to dig in and find out what you're facing. And when we know you've got a gut issue like you do, we're going to start you slow the way we did you.
Right.
You know, and when we know it's, let's say you're feeling healthy, but you're just hurting bone-wise or something like that, we want to have you start out with a little bit more to try to get that pain down a little bit quicker. Once again, we can't make promises, can't guarantee anything, but we can share some stories of what we have seen happen, and you know, then it's up to you. But so you can get started with a combination. We have a combination pack that has the Limousin, the OxyQuest, the colostrum. I think I'm getting all of that in there. I'm not sure.
Okay, I think maybe it is.
And then it also has another product in there called Flex. Maybe you can get Dr. K to talk about that a little bit if he has time. But it's $500 worth of product for $300. That's one package we recommend. But then when we have somebody like Janine that needs to start out slow, we say, whoa, don't spend that money up front. You can always do that later.
Right.
Start out with something small. Let's get your body started healing. And then we might go up to the 1 pound container, just like you did.
I started with the, how much is the bottle of, is it 120 capsules?
180.
180.
Yeah.
And that's like $35.
$35.
Yeah, that's what I started with.
Then after that, we would say one of the packages or the big tub of colostrum, like you said. Because with the big tub of colostrum, if you take it at a half teaspoon twice a day, which is a maintenance dosage, it would last one person 10 months.
That's incredible, yeah.
It's $162, so that comes out to $16.20 a month.
A month, wow.
Divide that out in a day, that's right around 50 cents a day.
Okay.
So most of us can afford that. Mm-hmm. You drop down to the 1 pound container, it's $105 for 1 pound.
Okay.
And that's going to last you half the time.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're doubling that per month. So that's about $1 a day, a little bit over $1 a day.
I see. Okay.
So our goal is not to get as much of the money out of you as we can, but to see you get the whole nutrition that you need for your body to work correctly for as inexpensive a price as you possibly can. And if I can add one more thing, that was another reason why we chose Anovite.
Okay.
The cost effectiveness of the product.
Mm-hmm.
Folks, if I can say this real quick, this product right here, the amount of nutrition that it has in it, in the company we were with previously to get the equal nutrition would have cost over $1,000 a month. This is $56 a month.
That's incredible.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the cost effectiveness, that's what was very attractive, because we're not here to make money off of you. We're here to help you feel better. Do we make some money? Yes, but it's not off of you. It is simply off of what other companies spend on television, radio, newspaper, billboard, and internet.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. All right. Well, thanks a lot for coming, and thanks a lot for watching, everyone. And
Thank you.
You all have a good day. Bye.
Bye.